Are you ready? Are you ready? For the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world, ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
Phenomenal.
It's so hard to have a gay time on your own. It could be that great chalk and biscuit coating.
So hard to have a gay time on your own.
It could be that smooth toffee ice cream in the center. Or that whole delicious golden gay time taste.
Hard to have a gay time on your own.
Street's Golden Gay Time. Now available.
You can get it riding, you can get it sliding, you can feel it coming on about 4. A hard-earned thirst needs a big cold beer, and the best cold beer is Vic. Vic Bitter.
The Bogan force is too strong upon us. Our spirit is broken.
The Bogan is strong with you, but not nearly strong enough.
I am Lord Darth Vader, First Knight of the Sith, and right hand to His Eminence Prince Esper Valorum, the master of the Bogan.
Let's see how you go with a can of beer up your exhaust pipe, mate.
Welcome back, readers. Last time in Los Angeles, our ace detective received a mysterious letter from our elusive killer. With another copper having kicked the bucket, he set out with his eager rookie to narrow their leads. They crossed paths with one Orson Welles, a real drunkard sauced all the way up to his eyeballs. Our detectives learned the late Patrick Perkins was hunting one of their colleagues before his demise. Meanwhile, Captain Higgins became a prime suspect, vanishing into a peculiar domicile in the sticks. In our next chapter, the poop hits the proverbial fan as our gumshoes tango with the deadly shapeshifter. Several threads in our mystery reach a breaking point, tightening the noose around our detectives. Danger lurks around every corner like a back alley shadow. Things go belly up for everyone involved. Book 4 is penned by Mr. Tony James, a writer of sorts, a lover of old noir and science fiction. In his corner are his 3 able-bodied artists, aces in their own field, much like our detective. And Jumpin' Jehoshaphat, take a gander at those rewards. The exclusives are a real humdinger. Be sure to peruse the add-ons as well. Commemorate your purchase with these additional items. Don't be a fuddy-duddy. Back Star Noir today. It's the only way to defeat the communists.
Hey, Tony James. See, how you going there? Has your mustache grown since the last time you were on?
It does, yes. With every book, every book, the mustache gets bigger.
How does your girlfriend like the mustache?
She loves it. She's a huge fan of it.
Do you ever like get the what is it, the gum out and get a little bit of extra twirl in it?
Yeah, I put the wax in it. Also, it's there's little scents that I put in it that she really likes. There's like I have a minty one right now.
Yeah, no one wants a bad smelling stash. That is true.
No.
Like you don't want it stinking like whatever the last thing you ate is.
No, I
saw your cat there in that trailer. I like that. What's your cat's name?
Ginny.
Just the one?
There used to be 2, but one unfortunately passed away. But yeah, with Ginny's been kind of the star of the show of Star Noir. Every time we do a book, she's in every video.
People love the cats. I had a cat. I don't know if you remember. I had a cat turned up at my door, literally. I was like, what is that sound? And I opened the door, a tiny little malnourished kitten.
Oh, wow.
And what are you going to do? So, we took him in, and he was a beloved member of the family, but, he was a stray. And I think he yearned for somewhere else. So
Mhm.
he was here for like, I don't know, probably at least 6 months.
Okay.
And then he went off, and we don't he started going off a little bit here and there, a couple of days, and then he just didn't come back. So we hope and pray that he's found another family, but we don't know. Shout out to Nugget.
Yeah, it's a heartwarming and tragic story all
I
in
know.
one.
What are you gonna do? Close the door? Cats, they do their own thing. That's been my experience.
That's what I like about them. They're very independent.
They are very independent. We're here to chat with Tony. I told Tony that like I've sort of tried to move away a bit from just the straight promo stuff into more of a conversation. Luckily for me, Tony's a great guest, and you have a Substack that is just full of amazing talking points. So we have tons to chat about if we want to. We will check out the campaign, of course.
Yeah, my Substack, it's at t/j. It's the actual Substack is called The Menu Is Not the Meal. And I talk about various things in indie comics, various trends and tropes, things that I kind of see other creators talk about that I kind of want to weigh in on. I did one about shared universes and how it's very difficult to kind of sell a new one by selling the universe first and not the individual characters. I had a great Terrificon story in there that I learned how to sell at a much bigger convention. It was the first time being at a much larger convention. That was a great kind of triumph story. Yeah, there's so many things in there.
I mean, I haven't read all of it, but I just went through just like sort of preparing for the stream. I read about like 7 of them. It's funny. I was thinking like, it's interesting that you and a lot of other creators have gone down that route doing Substacks. And I've always thought, oh, you could just make a YouTube video. But then I thought, no, there's something about the written word, actually. Yeah. It is different. It's presented differently. I think if you're articulate and a good writer, actually you can get your points across really well. And yeah, it just has a different ring to it. So I liked it. Let me quickly say hello to the chat. Mo snuck in first. So shout out to the Golden Wrench. Jim Alaska became a new member. Thank you very much, Jim. Shout out to you. Love seeing that. Helps keeps the light on. We got Mark's Music Obsession here. We got Reese. We have, who else do we have in the house? I see Corey Landis, the Flavor Saver. They're talking about your mustache.
Yeah. I never really liked that. I never really liked that term because like it implies a dirty mustache. I do wash it regularly.
Yeah. Keep a clean mustache. Citizen Ronan calling me out on my cat neglect. I'm just thankful Nugget didn't fall prey to Bancroft's cannibalistic rats. That the rats and the cat were years apart. So no problem there. Lord Raging Goblin, what's up? We've got Monomaker Savage Mustache.
Thank you.
It's I mean, it gets me every time. Love to see it. What's up, Dave? Genuine Comics in the house. Matthew Craig. Look at these fine people joining us here today. We are gathered. I had it shared and now it's disappeared. Where the hell's it gone? Hold on a sec. Where's my friggin'? I had the campaign up and now it's disappeared somewhere. Did I shrink it? I'm just gonna have to reopen it. That's fine. We can do that. I'll click my own link. How about that? That's probably the best way to do it. Oh my god. Okay. All right, hold on a sec. I'm usually much more professional than this. I don't know where it was. It was sitting there in the friggin' share tab right there.
Yep.
And then it isn't. Okay, we got it now.
Cool.
Yes, share window. I cannot stand the new StreamYards. It is doing my head in. But we're here. There it is.
There
Star Noir. Now, Star Noir, one of my favorite books of the last couple of years. I'm really into this one. I think I've done a couple of videos on them, a couple of shorts. We've had you on the show.
Yeah.
We checked out the trailer earlier. It is set in the 40s.
Yes,
it follows a 40s style gumshoe detective, except with a twist where he is accompanied by a partner who is a little bit different.
Yes. Yeah, he's not from this planet.
No. And he's sort of, the first issue dives into him sort of meeting him and then pairing up. It's a murder mystery.
Yeah.
Well, it's beyond that as well. Like, 'cause there's a lot of murders, a lot of mystery, a lot of action, and just Yeah, I mean, I knew I was going to like it from the first scene on the bridge.
Yeah.
I love your kind of noir take. Your artists as well, artist and colorist
Yeah.
and letterer, everyone firing on all cylinders on this one. And it
Yeah.
looks like Pablo's outdone himself again in this issue. Really,
Yeah.
look at that.
Yeah, Pablo. Yeah, every book, Pablo. He really kind of dials it up. He really kind of really goes for it. I really enjoy seeing all the new pages. I mean, you like seeing the finished artwork. Imagine getting them in your email and what what that experience must be like.
Yeah, I remember doing that with Rod, and you just
Yeah.
kind of, and actually we can get into that because that's something you wrote about in your in your Substack is when you first did a comic, your first one, it was called
Reloader.
Reloader, yeah.
Reloader, yeah.
You were sort of a bit more micromanaging the artist.
Yes. Oh yeah. I was very much annoying to the very first artist, and God bless him. He had the patience of a monk. Yeah, I just I was just a new writer, working with an artist for the first time, and I was so married to the vision that's sort of crystallized in my head. Yeah, I would just micromanage every angle, every pose, every detail on a window, and it drove him up a wall. And then I listened to a podcast with Greg Capullo, and he was just like, "Oh, just focus on like the end result. Like I'm gonna have a different take on it, just as long as it has the same tone and vibe that you're looking for." And it's like, oh, I can position myself like that. So I did that. I took that advice for Star Noir, and here we are.
I had the same experience with Rod because, being an artist as well, man, so many of this discussion is leaning back into things I've read in your Substack. This is going to be great. Being an artist as well. When I write, I see it as I do, as how I would draw it. So I'm writing the script, I'm writing it out for Rod, and I'm seeing it in my head. I've got that vision. And then Rod sends it to me back, and it's not really anything like it. And like at first I wouldn't say I was disappointed because the art was great, but I was like, oh, this isn't what I thought it was gonna be.
Yeah.
And but then I was like you, I'm like, no, I think this is how it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be a collaboration between, because the artist is a storyteller as well. They, you talk about that, that's part of their job.
Yeah, I mean, it's important to kind of, when you're working with an artist, you want to bring them into the fold, and so you have to roll with their vision. And I think as long as the end result of the end goal of what a page is supposed to functionally do for the reader is still intact, I think it's okay if they try a different angle than you were quite expecting.
Yeah, and oftentimes I think it just adds a lot to it. Is that Cranberry asks, how do you feel about that, the end result? Now you took that advice.
Great. I mean, honestly, it wasn't, I wasn't a control freak or anything. It was just, I didn't really know how to position myself as the writer. I'm always doing too much on my end. So once I knew, what my lane was and how to convey what my vision was while still letting them bring their own vision to the table, it was just much easier, much smoother experience. Because I was just only focused on the end result and like what the actual experience was. And if it's like, oh, hey, this moment doesn't come through, or the reader might be confused because we don't see this. It's a much broader discussion than getting into specifics.
You got into the annual writer versus artist debate, I saw as well.
Oh yeah.
I think everyone did. Every YouTube channel's talking. I don't know why it always sparks up.
I thought it was once a quarter. It feels like that conversation happens.
Maybe it does happen
with more frequency
than it probably should. What's so funny about it is nothing is ever resolved.
Yeah.
Everyone just sort of comes out and starts fighting, and then they just go back.
Yeah,
as if that did that just actually happen. No one. I don't think anyone's mind has ever changed. The guys like Todd McFarlane have that quote about his grandma and his dog.
Yeah.
And then there's guys out there I know who are just so art focused that they really do dismiss the story a lot.
Yeah.
And I can't really understand that. And then I think there's everyone who's sort of just watching with their popcorn, like you did. In your opinion, like obviously you need both, We're not
Mhm.
writing novels. It's a comic. That's, you know, you need the art and the thing, but without the story. And it's funny that McFarlane was kind of like the poster boy for this discussion this time round, because
Yeah.
that was the reason why I ended up stop reading Spawn.
Yeah.
I came for the art, but I didn't stick around because the story wasn't really there for me.
And that's kind of the thing with art. I mean, the great art, it will kind of, you know, get the reader in the door, but great writing will keep them and make them help the reader come back for subsequent issues. So the writing is it can't be understated. It does have an important role. It's not a flashy role, but it is an important role.
Do you read mainstream modern comics?
Sometimes I read. Was reading Absolute Batman. I fell off.
I was going to
fell off
ask you about Absolute Batman, because I think the art in Absolute Batman is amazing. I really like pretty much everything I've seen. The variant covers are nuts. Dragota's nuts.
Yeah.
You know, the variant artists that they brought in, like they just had Eric Canetti, my boy, on it. I'm not really interested in the story, but it's selling like hotcakes and it seems to be growing. So I'm assuming people like the story.
Well, I can't speak for how it is right now. When it first started off, the Bane story that they had was really, really good. Like he was like Batman was trapped in this prison, and every time he would try to escape, Batman would like mercilessly beat him to crap and then throw him back in the cell. And it was just this back and forth that created a lot of tension. It was really, 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 really gripping story. Right now, I feel the story is sort of leveled off, where it's really more about showing the rogues gallery in this absolute universe. So it's really like you're getting the next book just to see what the Harley Quinn looks like, what the Scarecrow looks like.
Yeah. Oh, look, have you seen the new Penguin? He's on
It's less about the story in the more recent issues.
Yeah, I mean that just sort of proves our point. Mo says, I don't want to read a comic with bad art or bad writing. I mean, that's often too. People couch it like that. Well, you know, if the writing, well, let's have both. How about both? You got both in Star Noir. So there we go. The art should serve the story, says Citizen Ronan. Mo says, if a comic has bad art, it will be better off as a novel. If a comic has bad writing, it will be better off as a poster. Some of them are posters. Have you ever gotten those indie books where you're like, this is a book of posters? What is this? Yeah, that's always an interesting one.
But yeah, I do feel that I mean, I think the writing in some way it should serve the art. I mean, it should fit whatever the art looks like. And I think, you know, what's great about Pablo and I is as we go on in future Star Noir books, I find myself like tailoring like the scripting to his art style and his sensibility.
Yeah, I can totally see it. That's actually one of the things that drew me to your story when I originally started seeing it out there. I was like, yeah, the art is perfect for this genre, and even the colors as well. You know, and I spoke about this when I did reviews on it, that it just everything working together just really fits what you're going for. And add on top of that, I want to just put anyone who's sort of on the fence about this on whether or not they should get behind it. It's really like the characters, I think, to me, really sells what's going on here. You really do dive into it. You establish, you rooting for people. You're looking out for people. That obviously, like, it's a pretty dangerous situation with all these different alien groups and their mysterious, what are they up to kind of thing. As it's unfolding, so it's all working together.
We try to keep the story turning as much as possible, and every book we pack a lot of story into it. So these are meaty chapters. All of these books, they're average about 50 pages, and we fill every single page with something. I don't think there's. It's always the editing part before we start to actually draw it is always the toughest part, because you're trying to figure out what to pare down without dampening the story at all.
Yeah, and the way you write as well, it's sort of like each 50-ish page book is just like another part in an ongoing story, but each part is, satisfying to read, and it's just, I think you've done a really bang up job.
Oh, thank you.
In how you're approaching this, and you've also got Moonrise Kingdom,
You mean Moonshine?
That you funded last year.
You mean Moonshine?
Moonshine.
It's in Moonrise Kingdom.
What is Moonrise Kingdom?
It's a Wes Anderson film.
That's a good movie, actually.
Yeah.
Did you watch that?
Yeah,
I liked it.
One, yeah. But yeah, no,
not my favorite one of his, but clearly in my brain.
Moonshine, Cowboys on the Moon. That's my other one.
You know, man.
This campaign actually has a preview of the first 10 pages of Moonshine. So if you were curious to kind of read it straight through to kind of see what it's like,
down here somewhere.
Yeah, I've got a tab there on the left that says like read
okay.
previews. Read on the left to read click to read previews of Moonshine and Reloader. And if you click that, it'll drop you down there, and then that first green link, Moonshine, Tombstone Meets Aliens, it'll bring you right to a PDF, and you can read that. And you can also read Reloader, my other story, that first one where I was driving the artist crazy. You can actually, the book actually turned out.
See what a book would look like if Tony was like a puppeteer.
Yeah, but that book came out great though. All things considered.
All's well that ends well.
Yeah.
Sure. And that's another thing you were talking about. Actually, you were on a stream recently talking about that, about managing 2 campaigns at the one time, because you're always making Star Noir.
Yeah. Well, I'm making now I'm always making Star Noir and Moonshine. So I'm constantly flip-flopping between the 2 series.
And how's that going?
It's great. I mean, you find a rhythm for it. I have a system that really works. But it is funny as the writer, Star Noir is very like the dialogue is very snappy. It's very idiom heavy, and Moonshine is more of this like long-winded kind of very kind of slower paced. So I have to kind of like remember each tone and each cadence of each story. So that's an interesting little flip flop.
The writing itself is very different. You're saying?
Yeah, it just tonally, the way each is written is a little bit different. But I am.
Have you ever made Moonshine?
I have not. I have a bathtub. I could start.
Have you ever drunk it? We don't really have it here.
No, I have not. I've never had it.
What is that, like potato alcohol?
I think so.
I think that's what it is. I don't know. I think it's like a local thing. It depends on where you live in the country.
Yeah.
Whether or not you have moonshine. I don't know.
Yeah.
So just going back to your Substack.
Yeah, for sure.
What was another thing you're talking about? The checkbox storytelling.
Oh yeah.
That is where. Will you explain that?
So checkbox storytelling is basically something that I've seen other creators do. They want to write every genre. They want a Western. They want a superhero story. They want to just basically have one of every genre, because the thinking is, if I have every type of story available, then I'm always getting a customer. But the problem with that is that it really dilutes your voice as the writer. I feel that every storyteller has like a genre that they're uniquely suited to, or they have like a natural affinity towards. And I think it's better for the writer to kind of focus on those strengths and be kind of a definitive voice in like a Western, or a definitive voice in a superhero, rather than trying to just check every single box. Because you might write a great spy thriller, but you also might have a terrible romance. And I don't think writing the terrible romance is really helping people who are into romances.
Is this something you see happening a lot in the creative fields? Like in your Substack, you mentioned certain directors and stuff like that, like delving into other genres, win or lose.
Yeah, Christopher Nolan, like he was kind of the cerebral thriller guy for the longest time, and
that was his exclusive thing.
Yeah, and then in the last decade, he has like tried his hand at different genres. And I've actually, and I mentioned that in my Substack, where it's like I'm actually looking at his stuff for him, not because I'm like generally interested in the Odyssey, but I want to see if he takes that sort of cerebral thriller that from inception, and see if he can work that into the Odyssey somehow.
Yeah, it'll be interesting if it's just a straight, normal Hollywood interpretation of the Odyssey. A general blockbuster with nothing that we've come to know as Nolan.
Yeah,
in it, because I'm when I heard about that, I thought, okay, you expect something from him, a certain look. It's like, I can never say the guy's name, the guy who made Dune, Villeneuve.
Oh, yeah.
If he's gonna make something, it's gonna have that look. But then we started seeing things of it, and I don't know, it didn't really look particularly Nolan-esque. I know it's just preliminary stuff, but
yeah,
I don't know. Yeah, so
I'm interested to see it. Definitely gonna give it a shot.
And you mentioned that you're working on Star Noir now. How long have you been working on this book?
I about 3 years, a little over 3 years now. Yeah.
And it's like, you kind of, after you're working on something, on one thing for so long, and I guess that's sort of the compulsion of why people do want to branch out.
Well, yeah, I mean, for me, I wanted to write one other story, just kind of to have two projects. Yeah,
in different genres.
In different genres, but also, going back to the Substack that I wrote about, writers tapping into their strengths. The Moonshine is a mixed genres, just like Star Noir is a mix of genres.
Yeah, that's your thing.
I feel like I do that very well, and so that's kind of my wheelhouse, and I want to kind of develop that and strengthen that.
Is it something you see a lot of indie guys getting into, overextending, just trying to hit all the bases?
Yeah, I think there's a kind of a subsection of creators that are very kind of hustle minded, and I think they're chasing the almighty dollar, and I think I on paper I sort of understand the strategy of having one of everything. I just think, as a writing philosophy, I think it's better to play to your strengths and develop that and refine that.
That hustle culture thing, is it going to be the new norm, or is it like, because it can't go on forever? I mean,
yeah,
in terms of like, what's the thing? Everyone's just going to be working 24/7, being the content, and it never used to be like that. Like, people need space and time to actually perfect things and work on things.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I feel it. Even, I mean, I don't do much YouTube at all. Like, some weeks I'll do 3 streams. If I miss a stream, oh well, I miss a stream. It's not an important thing. They go for an hour. I do a couple of videos, and even I feel like that's a lot. But then I see other people out there, hours and hours, or just doing other things. I'm like, how do you get the time to actually work?
Yeah, I mean, as somebody who works constantly on their books, I have forced myself to make time for family, my cat, being just actually just kind of living my life a little bit, because there's more to life than being stuck in your office poring over some pages. And I think it's important for creators to have that balance.
And if you think about it, all the best artists and writers, a lot of them, they lived, they had experiences to draw on. I didn't think Tolkien wrote Lord of the Rings until after he went to war.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm not saying we need to go to war, but at least get out there. Because I've definitely fallen prey to that, just being stuck perpetually online. That's probably a COVID thing, actually. Just perpetually online, always putting out content.
Yeah.
And sort of forgetting to, do the real things in life. Balance also helps inform your art, says Citizen Ronan.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, 100%.
You read that comment there.
Bancroft always keeps the gate high and closed when Tony's on the show. He's intimidated and intrigued by the stash. Everyone is. People have never seen you before. They all come in and they're like, whoa. Do you get this response in public? Like, people
all the time. Walking down the street, on the subway, at Yankee Stadium. Every time I go to see a ball game there, I don't know if it's because baseball has a history of mustachioed players, but I always get comments when I go to a ball game.
Well, that's how fashion works.
Yeah.
I didn't even learn this in a book. I witnessed it myself with my own 2 eyes over the years as I just pay attention. You get some people who are kind of like radicals, and I think you're one of them, right? And it's not that you didn't invent the mustache. You're just taking a look that was actually popular at some point in the past, and you're bringing it back, even though no one else is doing it. Although, I mean, there are some doing it. And
Well,
I
I mean-
noticed, you know, people dressing in like kind of different styles that are just completely different how everyone else is dressing. And then what happens is someone famous will see that. And then like Henry Cavill will just be, because you know he's a nerd, he'll just be scrolling through and he'll click on this video and he'll say, oh, I like that stash. I like that look. That's what I'm going to rock to my next whatever. And then all of a sudden everyone will be doing it, and then it becomes a big fashion thing. There's always you're like the trendsetter ahead of the curve.
Thank you. Well, I mean, listen, I'm standing here first. I'm before Superman, so if he ever decides to get a mustache later, I was first.
Yeah, he can at least plug your book. He's a big nerd. He does like comics and Warhammer and everything.
Yeah, big Warhammer guy.
Thank you, some person, for posting a link. Star Noir 1940s detective team up. A detective and a gray alien to stop shapeshifter. Not just one shapeshifter. I think there's like a whole bunch of stuff going on. We got
there's multiple racers. Yep.
Yep. Which is cool. Actually, that brings in like that's actually so I know you probably would have paid attention to it last year sometime. UFOs was like the biggest thing out. It was UFOs all over social media and everything. It kind of petered out. They had all the drones and everything. But some of the like big military, I don't know, intelligence people came out and said, no, there are these races. There's the lizards, the reptiles, and the Nordics, and the greys, and all that stuff. It kind of reminds me a little bit of what's going on in your story. Did you draw from any of that? Or?
Yeah, that was there. You know, when I was initially doing it, I was actually pulling from the known conspiracies of what the races are. You know, what abductees have said they've seen. And I took all of that information, and I found a way to work a story around it. The next story arc that we do after this LA story is in New York City, and in like 1910, I think is when we set that one, and we actually bring in new races that are not in this story arc.
That's my favorite word. I always struggle to pronounce it. Verisimilitude.
Verisimilitude. It's a nice Scrabble word.
Yeah, well, I think it's got too many letters. Unless is militude or tude. You could have tude. No, I don't even think it would fit. That's weird. I played Scrabble last night for the first time in like 3 years. It's weird you bring that up. Making the unbelievable believable. Again, another one. You guys should all go sub to Tony's Substack. It really is good. That was the thing that I really connected to, because I've done the same thing. In the Lucent, filled with real places, real historical people, and it just has that connection to the actual real world. And I just did that because I thought it was cool and fun. It makes the story just so much more alive in my mind. And I feel it looks like you did the same thing. You had Orson Welles in here.
I added Orson Welles. I think it just adds a little bit more believability to all the supernatural stuff that's going on in Star Noir. When you actually see real locations from that era, celebrities like Orson Welles. And Orson Welles is not just sort of like a quick cameo. He plays like an integral role in the plot. He's an actual plot point in the third book. I just think that and The Big Nowhere is a novel that I read that did that with one of the gangsters at the time. And I just thought that it kind of it really grounded it into an actual reality. It didn't feel like fiction in that moment.
It's funny. Wells is one of the OG guys blending fiction with reality. He did the
War of the Worlds.
The War of the Worlds thing. Did you ever listen to that?
I've listened to all of the radio plays.
It is fantastic.
Yeah,
I listened to it because I was doing a piece of art. I was doing like an asteroids t-shirt kind of thing, and I wanted to be like an alien. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to listen to that while I work and get inspired. I was like, this is amazing. Yeah. You get so into it. It was made in like the 30s or something.
Yeah. There's there's one that he does Dracula. That one's a great one.
I'm gonna go back and listen to these.
There's one about like fishermen that freeze to death on the ice. That's really, really good. He's got some really great ones. The whole Mercury Theater, which was the theater group that did all those radio plays. Yeah, all those stories are great, and they're all on YouTube. You can like listen to all of them for free.
Yeah. That's how I saw that War of the Worlds one was on YouTube.
Yeah.
Bancroft is really taking advantage of the fact that Mrs. B isn't monitoring this stream. What am I doing, mate? What's up, Jasper? Welcome, everybody. Seeing some people jump into the chat. We're here chatting with Tony, getting Tony's takes on various, indie comic things. This is your count them up, 5th or 6th book I think you've produced in not like that long of a time. That's actually really impressive. How many you've been able to get out?
Yeah, been definitely been running around for the last few years for sure.
I did a video yesterday on. Do you know Paul Thayer?
No.
He does sort of like his books are kind of more in the vein of Invincible.
Okay, cool.
So really bloody, hyper violent, sort of new superhero look sort of stuff. Anyway, his latest campaign is going gangbusters.
Okay, cool.
And I think it's up to over 22,000. And Tony doesn't have like Paul doesn't have a big, social media following or anything. He's just gotten it by putting books out consistently. And he's like put out like 2 or 3 Kickstarters every year since 2021 or something.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, it feels like he's stumbled on this new amazing thing where you don't have to be on the content grind constantly.
Yeah.
You don't have to be he is a hustler, but he hustles at cons, but like he's not hustling on YouTube or anything. You just put books out and you build the friggin' readership, and then you serve that readership, and it pays dividends. So
yeah, I one of my subsects that I wrote, they talked about how like every Star Noir book has to reprove itself. Like we're never sitting here feet up going like, yeah, we're the Star Noir team, we got to just do whatever, we're fine. No, every single book it's like, nope, this one has to be just an all-around better book than the previous one, because we have to constantly prove to our audience that it's like, yes, you made the right investment, this was a good choice for you.
And the further on it goes, the higher that pressure gets. I feel like you're on the 4th book now.
Yeah.
So like the pressure is, because it can't just flop. You can't. The first few books are great, and then.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. You run into the problem where you have a great story and then it face plants right at the end. Like you definitely don't want that to happen. So yeah, you want to make a great first impression. You want to keep everything turning so people keep coming back, and then you really want to stick the landing so that you don't feel like you wasted the journey.
No, 100%, and that's that's like there's TV shows that I loved so much at the time that just did that, face planted, and now I didn't even think about them.
Yeah,
there's so much to kind of manage.
Yeah,
it is a thing. How do you go about managing that pressure to
I guess I just take it like, I guess I just believe in the story. I believe in the art team. I'm a constant tinkerer. I always think that a scene could be a little bit better, a little bit shorter, a little bit tighter, a little bit punchier. So I'm constantly tinkering. So I think when you finally get to see something in front of you, it's been pulled apart and put back together a bunch of times.
Are you one of those guys who is, perfecting all the dialogue and everything right at the very, very end before it goes to print?
No, it's once I give it to the art team, the dialogue is pretty much locked. And then I just call an audible if a panel doesn't need it, or it would be simpler if a character spoke a few shorter words.
Casey Anthony, have you gotten this before? He reminds me of the Lorax.
That's a good one. That's a good one. I haven't heard Lorax yet. I love that one.
Yeah, we like Casey in the chat.
I usually get the Monopoly Man. I get the guy in the pizza box. I get that one. That one made me laugh. Never Lorax though.
And you you've beaten your first stretch goal, I think.
Yeah,
So
yeah, across the first one. So there's I curated a Spotify playlist. Basically all of the tracks that I've been listening to over the last few years while I was making Star Noir. It's ranges from very like dark ambient music to like 1940s oldies that are very catchy, and even radio commercials that played during that time. It's all in one curated 50 track list.
Does it have any of your own audio of you talking in that 40s voice? Was that you in the trailer?
No, but some of the radio commercials, they do have that voice.
That was just because of the technology, wasn't it? They didn't actually talk like that.
Well, I mean, there's the transatlantic voice. That was
of course.
That was pretty big back then. Yeah. So yeah, I just started tapping into that for the video. But yeah,
need to bring that back. That's how I envision. That's how I envision your characters talking when I read. Because actually, that's a big thing. I read a lot of indies. I like to do reviews on them.
Yeah,
it's one of the most recurring themes from I'd say beginner writers or like artists who want to write. A lot of the time, it happens is same voice, where any character could be saying it, or like, oh, this character's 10,000 years old, but they talk like they were born in 2004 or something. It's like, oh, that doesn't really work. I don't get that from your books, thankfully. I do actually hear it. Like, well, I do add in a lot of flavor and color into your.
Well, I think one trick that has helped me as a writer is to cast actors. And so you hear the actor's voice in your head, and you're like, okay, well, this is. Joe Pesci does not sound anything like Robert De Niro. Like, so you know that those characters would speak with a different cadence. So I kind of use that tactic with. Oh,
that's cool.
Right? Yeah,
I haven't thought of that. I've definitely sort of daydreamed about, if this was a movie, who would play this character. But that's even better. I like that. What's up, David? Member for 40 months. Wow, thank you, man. He says, good morning, good evening. Bancroft, yeah, it's just turned afternoon where I am, so and how to the chat. Where's your fucking shine box? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Fantastic movie.
The weird guy with they're not goggles. That's his eyes. He is a gray.
Yeah, so he's a gray alien.
The grays are, well, at least he's good in your story. I don't know if all the grays are good, but he's good, and he can make it so he looks like a human. In the story, he looks just like a kind of like a, there he is there.
Yeah.
So he's like a slight sort of not that tall kind of thin gentleman, but he can he can reveal himself to people when he needs to.
Yeah, and the reason that Alan can see a gray alien, and this is what the first book goes into. There's a big story moment that has to do with why that is.
Mo feels like his mixed genre quip really flew under the radar. I didn't get it, Mo. Maybe I'm just dumb. Yeah, Mo did leave a joke about me and the mixed genres that maybe I need to revisit, but I don't know if I can find it. Sorry, Mo.
Yeah.
So remind me, where are they up to now in their investigation?
Without spoiling the third book, another detective kicked the bucket. They croaked, and
dropping like flies.
Yeah, and they found a prime suspect who could be the shapeshifter, and they disappeared into this murder house that we open with on page 1.
Yep.
And yeah, we figure out you learn a few things. What's in this murder house. There's kind of a sort of a dead end moment for our detectives. I feel like the cards have all been dealt, and there's really nowhere for them to go. Alan kind of starts to piece it together. We figure out he figures out who the shapeshifter is. They go head to head. Yeah, this is really kind of this being the fourth book. It's really a synthesis of a lot of things that have been set up and teased over those first 3 books. We kind of, we return to certain characters, we return to certain locations, but they're under different circumstances this time. And you're really kind of seeing the culmination of a lot of story threads kind of reach a real breaking point.
If you guys like mystery stories, noir, if you like this look, this 40s aesthetic, California in the olden days, in the heydays, in the golden era. I don't think it was the Gilded Age. I think that was a bit earlier, but
and all the locations are based on real Los Angeles locations. Like that's the Pablo. He just takes references from the 40s just to recreate these locations.
Back when men dressed in suits, women dressed in fine accoutrement, and maybe even some mustaches. I don't know. I don't think I've seen a mustache in the book. Maybe there was one.
The captain has one.
Captain, of course, he has to have one. Yeah.
The captain. He's got that kind of Irish blood in him. So he's got the big mustache. But yeah, this is a really, really, really strong book. More people die. You can see that Alan here, he gets really roughed up. This is Stella Belafonte. She's making a return. We haven't we saw her briefly in book 3, but we were first introduced to her in a really big way in book 2. So we get to further her plot line. And I would say the ending for book 4, I really like all the endings to the books. Each book that we do, I think book 4 has got to be one of my favorites. It's one that I thought of like, if Star Noir was successful, I hope we can get to this 4th book, because the ending to that 4th book is like really, really cool. It's a really, really great twist. I really enjoy it. And it's really like what I like about comics. It's just really one of those like kind of uh-oh moments that make you want to go, I need to get the next one.
Man, I can't wait. Again, one of my favorite series in all of indies. I should say all of comics, because I don't really read the mainstream anymore. So yeah, one of my favorite series. I have those moments as well in my story that I can't wait to get to. So good job on getting there. I know exactly what you're saying. You're waiting to get to this moment just to reap the rewards of everything. You can get all 4 books on the campaign, I presume.
Yeah, you can get all 4 books. That reward tier is called the Big Sleep. We also reintroduced the book 1. Just if you were, 4 books is too much, you can just jump in on the first book. That one's called Plight Invitation. That's the reward tier for that.
Yeah, and you can read previews of that.
And you can read and all previews are all there, so you can definitely try before you buy.
Citizen Ronan says Tony's a great guest. You should have him one other time just to talk about stuff. I agree. Some person says you look like you play the piano in a brothel. So there's a little bit of
well, that's what I was doing before comics.
So what's that, ragtime?
Yeah. Yeah.
I could see that. I could see you. I mean, you would like. Imagine they're making a kind of like a Wyatt Earp era cowboy. I mean, you'd be in as an extra. It would just be 100. They might even give you a speaking role.
Wyatt.
Mo says if you're asking about the mustache rides, there's a reason the brother. It's called the Dusty Terrier. All right, that's a good one. I like that one. One other thing I thought we could chat about.
For sure.
Because you post about this a lot, and you even used it as an analogy in your hustle culture essay. Was you're a big fan of baseball. You talked about how you don't want to it's much better off in comics if you step up to the plate and hit a home run, or at least a good hit, than just swinging, getting 100 swings or whatever, and just maybe getting a bunt somewhere. You're a big baseball guy.
Oh yeah. Well, big Yankee fan. Lifelong Yankee fan. But yeah, I think it's kind of a perfect analogy. I saw another creator, talking about taking a lot of at bats, and very, very proud to take a lot of at bats in comics, and I feel like it's the quality of the at bats that are much more important. Because if you've got up to bat 5 times, that sounds great, but then when you look into what those at bats were. Oh, you didn't get on base 2 times. One was a fly out. Was a bunt. Didn't go very far. But then you hear like, oh, there was 2 at bats. That doesn't sound like a lot. But one was a grand slam, and the other one won you a championship. So like those, like the quality of the at bats are much more important than how many you actually take.
It's interesting. In the indie scene, you get all types. From people who have worked professionally for decades to people who are really just starting out.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I do understand the approach of I'm just going to attack this and throw as much as I can at the wall and see what sticks. I don't know what people want, or you know, whatever, and just, you know, and also people just don't have the ability.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, I know when I've kind of hit up against the ceiling of my own abilities, you know, I notice that, and I look at other people like, oh yeah, especially in the art, you know, that's like, and for me, a lot of the times it's like, I can't have the output. Like I literally can't put that much stuff out. I just don't know how people do it. But I also 100% see exactly what you're talking about. For me personally, I have chosen to put everything I have into the one story.
Okay.
Cool. And just make that the absolute best I possibly can. But I also am like, I like doing these sort of supplemental books to that story to feed what you were talking about earlier, where you do something a little bit different. That's not just the same thing. Otherwise, I do see, you know, it can get a little bit too much like a, you know, an endless grind.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, it's very easy to snap if you're doing one project.
Yeah, especially for many years. I was looking at my YouTube channel the other day, looking for something, and I was like, "Holy crap, that was 4 years ago! Are you kidding me? It feels like it was yesterday." It's pretty nuts. Sumo is here. What's up, Sumo? He says, it's adorable watching Bancroft pretend to understand baseball stories. Baseball stories are among my favorite stories. I don't watch baseball. I'm not interested in it as a sport, but I love baseball stories.
What's your go-to baseball story?
The Natural, probably.
Okay. That's a good one.
I'll watch any baseball movie. The only one I liked it when I was a kid was that one with Charlie Sheen in it, but then I went back to watch it and I was like, this actually isn't that good. It's kind of a bit, Major League.
Yeah, man. I love Moneyball, the one with Brad Pitt.
I've watched Moneyball maybe 10 times.
Yeah, that's a great one.
Enough of it. It's just, is that made by Sorkin? It's got that.
Yeah. What I love about it is, you know, as a baseball fan, baseball fandom is really analytical. And that movie is all about analytics. So I love that one. That's a great one to geek out about.
Yeah, Moneyball is just a fantastic movie and such a crazy story that it's real. Like, you can go and watch the that clip of what's his name, Hatterberg, hitting that home run, and it you know, looks like it. And you're like, oh my god, that actually happened.
Yeah.
And then, you know, like, I also loved The Big Short. I think that's sort of a movie in a similar vein, different topic obviously, but no, The Natural is just it's just a great film. I also like A League of Their Own, you know, with the women playing baseball. No,
no crying in baseball.
Field of Dreams. I mean, there's so many great baseball movies. It's weird how many amazing baseball movies there are.
I love that they even in real life like built an actual baseball field in a corn maze.
Yeah,
like, for professional ball players to play once a year in, and called it the Field of Dream games that they have every season. Yeah.
Of course, Bancroft likes The Natural. Wonder Boy. Mo likes basketball. I actually like
that one's a silly one. Yeah.
I have a soft spot for those guys. Mr. Baseball. Speaking of mustache. Yeah. No, like I was never. I don't not like sport. I just never really got into it as much. I did play, you know, a little bit as a kid, but that was the extent of it. We'll go out with my son every now and then, hit the ball around. A warm hello to you, Michael, Tony, and the chat. What's up, Jennifer? Always great to see you. Thank you very much for the super chat, as always. Look at all these fine people sliding in here to say hello. Yeah, well, man, you're doing incredibly well. I think it's in Australian dollars, so don't get freaked out.
Yeah.
As you know, it's so easy to do. But I know it is in US dollars. We're good.
Okay, cool.
It was. See, I had it earlier. It was in Australian dollars. I don't know. 12,000. It's been open for what, like 4 days?
4 days. Yeah, Tuesday is when we started.
It took you like a month to get funded originally back in the
Yeah,
day.
that's what I was telling my readers is like book 1, it took us 30 days to reach 10K, and here we are at almost 13 4 days into a 30-day campaign. So it's been really great. I really love how passionate my readers are, and I like that they set the bar high for their expectations because it keeps the work honest.
Forces you to meet them. I had helped a guy launch a book the other day, and he said he feels like we're entering into kind of like a new moment in indie comics. And I hadn't really thought about it like that, but now I've just been looking around, and if you look even up to kind of the big players in not really quite indie, but like big small publishers, small press like Ghost Machine, like they're crushing it, so that's like the top. But then all the way down, I'm struggling to back everything. I can't back everything I want to back. There's so much out at the moment, and I feel like that hasn't been the case in the last 2 years. I'd find maybe one every couple of months. I was like, okay, I have to back this. I found 3 or 4 this month alone.
Yeah,
and
same.
then more just keep coming, and I'm like, oh shit, how am I going to get all this stuff? It's pretty crazy at the moment, actually.
The books are starting to look across the board like a lot better, like a more like there's like you said, there's like 3 that I was looking at that I'm like I have to back before they run out, because I'm like I'm really into the art, I'm really into the concept. Well,
as well now, like on a book like Star Noir, I'm into the story. I need to know the rest of the story, so like there's that on top of it as well. So it's getting tough out there, but it is what it is. As well, on top of that, it's good for me for backing stuff. The Australian dollar, either the US dollar is dropping or the Australian dollar is climbing. I don't know which one it is. But so that'll help out a little bit. Doesn't help me out in terms of shipping stuff out to the States. But, I guess that's a me problem.
But you've got a for you. I was gonna say, like, you have a workaround for people coming from the US to ship to you, right?
Yeah, I get everything. So when I back, I get everything sent out to RJ. So I only pay US shipping at the thing, but then I pay another extra fee to RJ, but it's still less than having to ship each thing individually to Australia. That's ridiculous.
Gotcha.
Like that's just
unfeasible. International shipping is it's tough. Even every time we look at the numbers, it's still like, man, international. It's tough shipping stuff out.
Hopefully one day someone will be able to figure something out.
If we can smush the continents back together, I think
I'm sure it'll happen. So we just have to wait around for 2 billion years, and everything will be you're able to train it all around. It'll be fine.
For sure. Yep.
What's up, Jay?
Hey.
Great to see you. Duck Bacon. Look at all these fine people joining us here in the chat. As we are about to close out, I've got the link in the description. It's also been in the chat this whole time. Some person has been posting as well. Yeah, we just need bring Pangea back.
Yeah, Pangea.
Exactly. You guys are Jason's on top of it.
Yeah, it's like bring back Pangea.
Do we want that though? I quite like actually that Australia is an island tucked away at the bottom of nowhere.
Yeah.
It's kind of, I don't know. I actually like that. It makes it harder to get over to the US and Europe, but at the same time, I guess I'm kind of a recluse. In this metaphor, the continents represent Bancroft, Tony, Valley, and Rod. Okay, there we go. People are, I don't know, someone said there's weird sexual tension in the chat earlier. I don't know what is going on in that. It must be a mustache. It brings the energy out.
Yeah. Oh, there's K-pop, man.
K-pop is here. Yep, we love K-pop. As long as you keep ska going.
Oh yeah, ska's great.
Mo is a poet. He is indeed. He is indeed. Casey feels it. I don't know what is going on. We're here to talk indies. We're here to talk a great book, Star Noir. Go out and back it. Sumo, yeah, you missed it. Thankfully. Thankfully, you got to go back and watch the replay.
Yeah.
People can find Tony over on X.
Yep.
And yeah, check out that Substack. What was the name of it again?
Well, it's I'm also at T/J on Substack. But specifically that that publication is called "The Menu Is Not the Meal."
Go check it out. I was like, oh, I really want to subscribe to a Substack. But then I was reading, I'm like, no, this is like just hits different than a video. I don't know. When I make videos, I don't script them anymore. I don't have time for that. I just talk and I waffle, and it's kind of like low effort, low energy. Hopefully not low energy, but it's not like the written word where you can actually articulate things in a coherent way.
Yeah, I was very cynical about Substack for a while, and then I gave it a shot, and then the open rates were just so great. Like people were really like checking it out. So I was like, all right, I'll keep working on it.
Nice, good to hear. Good to hear. All right, everybody, that is going to be it for me. I hope you have a wonderful night. I'm gonna go grab some lunch myself. Go check out Star Noir. I will be backing Star Noir, but like I said, I got a few other books I need to get to first. So we will sort that out definitely before it ends. But you got 26 days to go. This one comes with a thorough recommend from me. Really, really big fan of Star Noir and everything that Tony's doing. So go check it out, Tony. I'll see you soon. Keep growing that mustache. It's really gets the people going.
I will. I'll keep it. Yeah, for sure.
All right, guys. Have a great night. Bye.
Perth made an Australian video, and I wasn't even in it.
Emotional damage.